a very emotional one from time to time, I have to say. And sometimes it was more labor than love, because it was sometimes extremely hard, and I wondered why I would even want to do it. But when I look around, hey, thanks, Lish. When I look around, and this is something some of my family members said last night, they walked in the door and they started to cry, because I think they felt like it is an extension of my home, and that's truly what I wanted for this restaurant. Something that was unique and different on the Strip, something where it's the first time people could actually touch a bit of me and maybe eat my food. You know, I think everybody's been enjoying my food on TV, but never actually have a place to go. And so I wanted it to be like you were coming over for dinner. And the whole time when my husband was helping me design this place, all I kept thinking was, how do I make it so that it feels homey? Because it's hard in this large of a space. And so the idea of creating an antipasto bar, when you walk in the door, and the first thing that you see and smell are the aromas of food. And people behind, even though they don't look very excited right now, but they will be. People doing things that they love with food, and that being the first thing that you see, and then hand-picking all the details in this space. From being crazy enough to take all the sample chairs and put them in my living room and have my family and friends that were coming over from time to time sit in them, even though they thought I was nuts. Making sure that the levels of the chairs and tables were comfortable. Making sure that we use different fabrics, some couches, some chairs, some loungy areas, so that it really felt like you were walking into different parts of someone's home. And sort of having paintings and movie posters of my family's, artwork from friends of mine who I actually have at home, even my cousin, my 23-year-old cousin who's a graphic designer, take photos of my grandmother, my grandfather, and me, and sort of recreate them in a sort of Andy Warhol-ish kind of style. And I have to tell you, my cousin came last night, and a 23-year-old boy was bawling his eyes out. So it's really fun. It's really fun to be able to see it come to life. And I truly feel like this is my home away from home. It really, really is. And I hope that you guys will feel the same way. I'm not going to bore you too long with all the details, but I do want to share that the menu took me a long time to sort of settle on. And it went through different incarnations. From thinking that maybe I wanted to create a whole new menu for Vegas, something that people hadn't seen me do, to struggling with, but I think people want a little bit of what they know me for, to thinking, okay, but how do I take the things that I've made so easy in my cookbooks for everybody to make at home and elevate them so you'd want to come here and have that experience? And how do I give you more than just plated food and great service, but actually entertain you at the same time, which, as we all know, is what Vegas is about, right? It's the only place in the world that I can do certain things that I've done here, like make a chicken cacciatore for two, present you the whole bird, carve it for you, and enjoy something that is very traditional in Italy, that's comfort food and usually looks kind of sloppy, even though it's good, and sort of elevate it in a really special way. Handmade pastas all across the board that I love. Sharing food, because my antipasto bar is all about sharing. The pasta is about sharing. Really the only thing that you serve, that you order a la carte are the entrees. And then, although today we won't have it, but I promise that we will have it in a couple weeks, we designed these pink gold dessert carts that go around the dining room that will have Italian desserts but elevated. The same flavor, but taking a little bit of inspiration from my time spent in Paris, where I learned to cook. So they won't all be little petit fours. There'll be cakes, there'll be little petit fours, there'll be a little bit of everything, but very colorful. And I thought, because when I first started this project, I was told nobody eats really dessert in Vegas. It's sort of an afterthought. You can have it on your menu, but no one will order it. So of course I found it a challenge, and I thought, well, how am I going to make them do it? Well, the only way I know how, since I have a 6-year-old, is if they see it, they can't help but get it and take it. So moving the dessert carts around the room I thought would be fantastic. And then taking those same dessert carts and creating a brunch program that's a dim sum Italian style brunch. That would be really different and unique here. Instead of just serving brunch, we're gonna have these carts and people are gonna have fun doing it. So To me, that's part of Vegas. It's something I could only do here that I couldn't really do anywhere else in the world, and that's why this is such a special project. And I think it's because I've spent blood, sweat, and tears in it, and it really feels like it's home away from home. And I want you guys, when you eat lunch, to take a look at those chandeliers that are in the center of the dining room, and maybe you could read what they say. Because the number one asked question that I always get is, how do you stay trim and eat all that great Italian food? So I'm going to answer it before anybody in this room even asks me. It's all on that chandelier. Can anybody guess what it is?
A little bit of everything and not a lot of anything.
I eat a little bit of everything, but not a lot of anything. Exactly. Exactly. Which has sort of been my motto. What else? Let's see. What else? Do you guys want to see a demo? Yeah. Are you guys hungry? Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to make a pizza. I'm going to change out of my heels. One moment, please. Because you know. There we go. So we're going to make a pizza bianca. I just went down. So you can all adjust your